Retirement is certainly something we look forward to, and when you get there, you want it to be a wonderful ride. So, how do we make sure our monies last as long as we do? Joining me now is Brian Bowen, the president of Integrity Financial Planning, a local area firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful retirement. Brian is also a popular radio show host. So Brian, today we're talking about the idea of the last paycheck, which can seem so exciting because of the world of retirement is right in front of you. But it's also your last paycheck, which sounds kind of terrifying too.
The last paycheck is scary for some folks because it's their identity, the job that they had for 30 years maybe. So I think that's talking through it with someone else and having a step-by-step game plan for what that looks like. Where am I going to get that paycheck from? I was making this, and it's not so scary when we break it down for them, right? Your paycheck's just going to come from different sources now. It's not coming from your employer. It's coming from Social Security if you're over 62. Maybe you're fortunate enough to have a pension. A lot of federal workers that we've helped, a lot of our clients work at the federal or the local state governments, and they get a guaranteed pension that pays out a certain amount per month, right? Let's use the example, $2,000, and they get that for the rest of their life. And sometimes it increases depending on the pension. But then after that, it's trying to figure out where's the rest of the money, going to come from. And, that's I think that's the scary part for folks, because those two added together sometimes don't equal what I was making before. And so it's trying to figure out, okay, I need $6,000 a month. So far, my pension, Social Security is only at $3,000. Where's the rest, and where does it look like? So I think, and it's an emotional struggle, I think, for some too, because they're like, what am I going to do? I was gone for 40 to 50 hours a week, every week, and now what am I going to do with my time? So we have a lot of our clients actually working part-time, not necessarily that they need to. Helps a little bit on the income side, right? They don't take as much from their assets, and they enjoy it. Do something that they enjoy. We have people working in quilting shops and gift stores, and we have the people that work at the hardware store because they like tinkering around with things, and they're not making a lot, but it keeps them busy, keeps their mind active, and they enjoy getting out of the house and doing something. Or a lot of them are doing charitable work through the church or different organizations that they are near and dear to their heart. And so they feel good that they're helping out, and maybe some of them aren't even getting paid for it because they're actually doing a real job. It needs to be there. So I think it's just trying to talk through, what are you going to do? Sitting at home watching TV all day long sounds like a great plan, but eventually people get bored. And it's trying to figure out, what are you going to do, and what does that look like, for my paycheck?
Unfortunately, the reality of life is that sometimes we get sick, and knowing that you have enough money to take care of yourself during that time period or provide for your spouse.
Right, and that's where long-term care planning comes in. There is a reason why, we talk to builders and developers, and they can't build the retirement homes fast enough. They are packed full. There's waiting lists. In the few markets that we're in here locally, people they're like, yeah, I'd love to get in that, but I'm on a waiting list. My son, my father, my dad, whatever, my mom, they can't get in because of a waiting list, and that's because people are using these assisted livings and retirement homes at $60,000 to almost $100,000 a year. So if you take out for $70,000. Out of your assets, let's say you take it out of a pre-tax account, you might have to take 100 to net that. You take out $100,000 a year and you do that for 3 or 4 years, the spouse that's alive, their retirement plan is blown, right? Because you didn't think you were going to spend that forever, right? And you're not going to need that for quite a few years. So I think having a game plan on that as well is important.
Right. And if you're not thinking about this now, it could potentially fall back on your kids. Do you want your kids to take care of you or go into assisted living? Can you afford to go there? There's a lot of different questions, and of course, nobody wants to be a burden.
Nobody does, right? Yeah, you don't want the kids. The kids are busy, and I don't want to bother them. Well, you need an estate plan, and that's another part of the plan that we're talking about. But do you have all the decisions made? Who's taking care of all of those you know, who's going to write the checks and invest and make that investment decisions for you if you're not able to, right? Who's the power of attorney for you? Is it your, you know, son that lives all the way across the country, or should it be a friend or a family member that's close here in town to help with the matters physically, locally? So, you know, but I think when we back in, we got to find out what you need first. So if you need $5,000 a month in income, right? We've got to figure on $6,500 to $7,000. We've got to pay taxes, right? And so we've got to figure out all the sources of assets you have to be able to generate a steady paycheck for you, because most people don't want this. I'm getting paid this month and then this month. They don't want the up and down. You want a steady, consistent paycheck for the rest of your life.
Very good.